Hardest instruments to master. Number 1. Violin. The violin is one of the most difficult instruments to master, due to its many intricate techniques and nuances that require both physical and mental precision to perfect. Playing the violin requires precise control of the bow, left and right hand control of strings, and the ability to simultaneously move the bow and press strings. Additionally, violinists must possess a solid understanding of music theory, as well as an intimate knowledge of their instrument's range and capabilities. With so much to comprehend and practice, it can take years for a violinist to truly master the instrument, even if they have been playing for some time. Many aspiring violinists will also undertake lessons with a teacher or mentor, in order to hone their skills and ensure that they are playing the instrument correctly. Number 2. Cello. The cello is one of the most difficult instruments to master because of its size and the complexity of its various techniques. The cello is a stringed instrument with 4 strings tuned in perfect fifths, CGDA, and played in an upright position. To play the cello well, one must be able to move the bow accurately and consistently across the strings, while also controlling the sound with the right hand, which requires great coordination and skill. Additionally, the range of the instrument is relatively wide, covering 3 full octaves, and can be quite difficult to reach with accuracy and comfort. Moreover, the cello has a unique and powerful sound that can be difficult to control and refine. Finally, the cello is also very sensitive to changes in temperature and humidity, which can affect tuning and sound quality. As such, mastering the cello can be an extremely difficult and time-consuming process, even for experienced musicians. Number 3. Double bass. Double bass is widely considered to be one of the hardest instruments to master. It requires a wide range of physical and musical skills. Physically, the double bass is a large and unwieldy instrument that takes a lot of strength and agility to play. Musically, the double bass is usually the lowest voice in an ensemble and requires the player to listen to the other instruments and adjust their playing in order to blend in. Additionally, the double bass has a unique tuning and fingering that can take quite a bit of time to master. All these factors combined make the double bass one of the toughest instruments to learn. Number 4. Piano. The piano is considered one of the most difficult instruments to master due to its sheer complexity. It is the only instrument that requires a musician to use 2 hands independently to produce melodic music. The musician must read both the notes and chords while playing, while coordinating the 2 hands at the same time. There are also very few instruments that require a musician to use the pedals, which can add a whole other layer of complexity to the equation. Additionally, the piano is also an incredibly dynamic instrument, allowing the musician to bring out their own musical expression and interpretation, which can take years to master. The sheer amount of musical theory and knowledge that must be acquired to play the piano effectively is also daunting and can be a barrier for many aspiring musicians. Number 5. Trumpet. The trumpet is considered one of the hardest instruments to master. It requires a high level of breath control, strong embouchure, and precise finger dexterity. Playing the trumpet requires developing a wide range of tonal qualities and staying in tune with the other instruments in the ensemble. One must also learn how to play in different keys and tempos. Additionally, the trumpet requires long practice sessions to develop the necessary skills. To be able to play the trumpet with proficiency and confidence, a player must dedicate a great deal of time and effort to the instrument. Number 6. Saxophone. The saxophone is considered to be one of the most difficult instruments to master. It is a demanding instrument to learn as it requires technical skill, endurance, and a good sense of timing and rhythm. The instrument also requires a lot of dedication and practice to master. A player must be able to master fingering, breath control, embouchure, and technique. Players must also be able to read music and understand the complexities of a music score. Additionally, a saxophonist must have the ability to improvise and develop their own sound. Saxophone is an incredibly versatile instrument, and as such requires a great deal of versatility and creativity as well. The saxophone is a complex instrument that requires a great degree of commitment and hard work to truly master. Number 7. Trombone. The trombone is widely considered to be one of the hardest wind instruments to master. This is due to the complex nature of the instrument, which requires extreme precision and technique. Learning to play a trombone requires countless hours of practice and dedication. Additionally, playing a trombone requires an understanding of its unique slide mechanism, which allows for the relatively precise control of pitch. This requires precise fingerings and hand placements, as well as precise embouchure, lip shape, and breathing techniques. Another challenge of the trombone is the range. It is capable of producing a wide range of notes, which requires great skill to master. Lastly, trombone players are also expected to have great musicality and a developed understanding of music theory. All of these components make the trombone one of the most challenging wind instruments to master. Number 8. Drums. Drums can be one of the hardest instruments to master because they require a strong sense of coordination, timing, groove, and dynamics. Drumming is often considered the hardest instrument to master because it is more than just hitting a drum. You have to be able to control each limb independently and use them to create a unique rhythm. You must also be able to maintain the right tempo and make the right attack and decay on each drum. Additionally, you have to be able to control your sound and dynamics while playing a drum beat that fits the song and genre. All of these skills take a great deal of time and effort to master, making drums one of the most difficult instruments to learn. Number 9. Oboe. The oboe is widely considered to be one of the most difficult instruments to master. The oboe requires a tremendous amount of precision in order to produce a clear, pure sound. Oboists must demonstrate a great deal of control over their embouchure, as well as their air support, in order to produce a rich, full tone. There are many different techniques that must be mastered in order to produce the desired sound, including vibrato, articulation, register changes, trills, and glissandi. Additionally, the oboe is an incredibly sensitive instrument and even the slightest change in temperature or humidity can affect the sound. As a result, oboists must also have a great deal of knowledge about instrument maintenance and care. The oboe is truly a challenging instrument to master, but with dedication and practice, it can be one of the most rewarding instruments to play. Number 10. Erhu. The erhu is a two-stringed musical instrument that is commonly used in Chinese classical, folk and traditional music. It is believed to be one of the oldest Chinese instruments and has been in use since the 1300s. Despite its age, the erhu is still a popular instrument today, and has been featured in many different styles of music. Despite the apparent simplicity of the erhu, it is actually one of the hardest instruments to master. This is due to its unique playing techniques, which include the use of vibrato and the ability to slide between notes without shifting the position of the bow. The erhu also has a wide range of expressive possibilities, and requires a great deal of skill and practice to achieve a good sound. Number 11. Hurdy-gurdy. The hurdy-gurdy is a stringed instrument that is considered one of the hardest instruments to master due to its complex nature. It is a hand-cranked stringed instrument consisting of a large wooden wheel, wooden keys, and strings that are played with a crank and a bow. To make music, the musician has to press the keys with their left hand and turn the crank with their right. The strings vibrate as the wheel turns, creating a characteristic drone sound that is often accompanied by melody. This instrument also requires a great deal of skill and practice to become proficient at, as the musician needs to learn how to press the keys and manipulate the crank to get the desired sound. Additionally, the musician must also learn how to properly use the bow to create the desired notes. It can take years of practice to master the hurdy-gurdy and become a proficient player. Number 12. Glass harmonica. The glass harmonica, also known as the glass harmonica, hydrocrystallophone, or simply the harmonica, is an instrument consisting of glass bowls, cups, or goblets, mounted on a spindle, and rotated by a foot pedal-operated mechanism. The bowls, cups, or goblets are filled with varying amounts of water to produce different pitches when rubbed with the player's fingers. It was invented by Benjamin Franklin in 1761 and was popular during the 18th century. While the instrument is relatively easy to learn, it is incredibly difficult to master. The glass harmonica requires a great deal of finesse and control, as the slightest mistake can produce an unpleasant sound. The instrument is also very fragile, and a single slip of the finger on the rotating bowls can cause them to break. Additionally, the instrument is quite sensitive to changes in humidity, temperature, and air pressure, which can cause the water levels to change and the pitch to become distorted. As a result, the glass harmonica is considered to be one of the most challenging instruments to master. Number 13. Theremin. The theremin is widely considered one of the hardest instruments to master due to its unique playing technique. The theremin is played without physical contact using two antennae that sense the player's hand movements. This means that players are required to continually adjust their hand distance and speed to create the desired sound. Additionally, the theremin's sound generation is analog rather than digital, meaning that players need to have an intimate knowledge of waveform behavior in order to accurately create sound. Furthermore, because the theremin is a relatively new instrument, there is a lack of widely available instructional materials, making it difficult for beginners to learn. All of these factors combine to make the theremin one of the most challenging instruments to master. Thanks for watching our video on the hardest instruments to master. This is just one of the many curiosities we explore here on our channel. Be sure to subscribe for more videos about curiosities from around the world. See you next time.